Okay, this is the first mod that I made with the creation kit for Skyrim. I've created a spell that conjures these little moving nodes. See, I made that node and it flew out to where I initially targeted the spell, and I can teleport to that node wherever it is. I could teleport to it while it was in transit, while it was moving, and if I put the target on a character, the node will follow that character around unless it goes through a door. It won't follow it into another cell. It won't follow it into houses, other towns, or anything, but it will follow it around the particular area it's in, like in a dungeon, for example. The node ignores walls and things. It phases through walls, so it's very important, if you're going to use this to teleport, that you make sure that it's not inside a wall when you teleport. Otherwise you have a problem, just like poor Mr. Spock. You will find yourself outside the world fairly quickly if you teleport into a wall. Now he just went into that house, and you'll notice that the node can't find its way in, so it's just sort of trying to get closer, but it can't. So, oh well, that doesn't work. But I can put this node, I target that node on that roof. Now the light there is just to show you where your target hit initially. It disappears after a second or two. You'll notice that the node pauses on long flights. That's because the programming language Papyrus, which is what all the scripting is done, is very slow on mathematical calculation. And when this node is trying to follow a character around, it has to do some math to figure out which direction it should go after each segment of its movement. I initially was having it move about 10 feet and then turn to follow a moving target. Unfortunately, that sort of caused it to keep pausing. Each pause was about 3 seconds, and it really slowed it down to the point where it wasn't going to be all that useful as far as on long trips. If you hit a dragon with it, it would never catch up with the dragon, because it'd move 10 feet and try to figure out where the dragon was, and it would move another 10 feet. I made it fairly slow because I do want to have effects that where you can shoot the node down a hallway, maybe, and have it pulse fire or something as it's going down the hallway. Now this is another fun spell I made sort of in celebration of getting the node teleport thing working right. And it creates these little wisps that you see in Yngol Barrow that follow you around. These little wisps will follow the node wherever it goes. And they move by a sort of push sort of mechanism. I copied that from the Yngol Barrow sprites, just so that they look authentic. They do exactly what the ones in Yngol Barrow do, but at a longer range. Because I said if someone's playing with this outdoors, it's going to be disappointing if they stop following their targets if they get out of 10 or 20 feet of where you're conjuring them. Now I've summoned all these nodes, and you've noticed they've all disappeared. They're all trying to follow that NPC that I put the node on. So I'm going to switch to the teleport spell in a second here, and I will teleport over there, and you'll be able to see where all the nodes went, because they're not here now. They all disappeared. Let's see, let's get the teleport spell up and teleport on over. You still want to see one bouncing around there, but here they are. They're all trying to follow our poor little guy walking around town here. Now each of these little wisps is an activator in the creation kit, so I could use them to trigger things, or to activate other, to tell other things to go. Or I can put effects on them, like each one of these, if I wanted, could have a little flame cloak spell on it, and that poor NPC would be finding life very unpleasant with these little things bouncing around him, with a flame cloak on. So yeah, I'm going to show you here. Now notice how many nodes there are. If I put out another teleport node, all of those things will kill themselves. They'll all disappear. because I figured I didn't want to clutter plate the thing up. You know, if you put another node out, they all say go away. Now I'm going to put a node up on Dragon's Reach, and you notice there I could teleport to the node while it's in motion easily. I'm going to switch to my moat creator, and I'm just going to spam them and see if we can't get a pretty firefly-ish looking nighttime scene here. Spam a whole bunch of these, and then I'll run up the hill so we can see how they sort of cluster around the Dragon's Reach, trying to reach the node that I put up there on the near the roof. They won't be able to really stay up there. Maybe one or two of them will get stuck, but other than that, they'll just keep flying around trying to get up there. So I thought this would be a fun toy to play with. The node spell and the wisp spell. The wisps, if you summon them without a node, will follow you around. They won't follow anything else until you put a node out, and then they'll follow the node. And then if you put a second node out, they'll all disappear, and you'll have to summon some more wisps if you want to play with them. So I thought that the idea would be that on the quest where you learn these spells, you would learn the wisp spell first, because then the wizard would say, "Oh, here's a spell. You can learn how to use these wisps," and then later he'll show you how to make the nodes, so that the wisps will follow the nodes, and then after that he might show you how to put spells on the wisps, or so that they can do nasty things to your enemies or helpful things to you. And then later he'll finally teach you the teleport spell, probably at Conjuration 90 or higher.